Lawyers, what's a law that isn't real that normal people insist exists? An arrest isn't magically invalidated if the police don't read you your rights on the spot. There could be a whole thread of just misconceptions people have from watching cop TV. In California, it's not illegal to discuss your wages with your coworkers, despite what your boss might say. Edit. I'm a lawyer in California. I assume it's the same in the other 49 states. But don't want to speculate. It's a law that exists but widely misunderstood as the concept of entrapment. If the police put a bait vehicle in a high-crime area, that is not entrapment. If the police are watching a bar known to overserve to see if there are impaired drivers at the end of the night, that is not entrapment. Entrapment only occurs when a gov agent suggests committing a crime that you were not otherwise going to commit. As a former lawyer, UK, I lost count of the amount of people that thought jaywalking was a crime. Unless it's a road that specifically states no pedestrians or a motorway. No such offense exists here. In my country, some people believe they can press charges against someone. You can't. You report a crime and the police decide if they are taking it further. It's not up to you whether charges are brought. You may want charges brought but the police drop the case. Alternatively, you can refuse to press charges and the police can bring a case anyway. It's harder without the victim or witness cooperation, but they still can. You do have a right to civil cases, of course, but when people say press charges, they believe they can do this via the police. In the UK, it's not illegal to park on someone else's driveway. It's classified as trespassing, a civil offence, not criminal, which means the police can't do anything. This particularly surprises people as many think that they have exclusive rights to the parking outside their house as well. Negligent motorcycle driver forced me to hit him from behind with my car. I was young and naive at the time. Never been in an accident until then. Guy makes me sign a paper that says that the accident is my fault because I hit from behind and wanted compensation. I explained the situation to my dad, and he concluded that the guy was obstructing normal traffic and I had no option but to hit him from behind. In the particular circumstance, the guy ended up taking us to court. Showed the judge the piece of paper that I signed. I explained that I signed it under duress and that he explained that by law whoever hits from behind is responsible for the accident. Judge looked him in the eye and asked him if that's true. He said yes. Then she asked him to point out which law states that. He just shut the up that guy. This isn't exactly what you're asking for. But I think it's valuable for people to know, you do not need to wait 24 hours to report someone as missing. The one that is the most frustrating to me, even though it's not really a specific claim that a particular law exists, more a rule of evidence, is that's just hearsay. You have no evidence. Comes up all the time. In all kinds of contexts. Even lawyers love using it when it suits them. Nothing but hearsay and speculation. Usually. What people mean when they say that is, don't believe them. They're lying. Which, fair enough. But that's not what hearsay means. Lots of evidence is just a person talking. That's what a witness is. It's why testimony exists. It's not evidence just because it's a person talking. Hearsay just means that in most cases, you can't have person A say that person B said XYZ in order to prove that XYZ actually is true. Hearsay. Get it? I heard B say it. It just means your witness can only talk about things they actually know about. And, extremely importantly, it also doesn't count as hearsay when person B is actually the person on the other side of the case. Person A is totally allowed to say, person B told me, yes, I will commit the crime on Tuesday, if person B is the defendant, who has been accused of committing the crime on Tuesday. You don't get to complain it's hearsay if you're the one who supposedly said the thing they heard. I'm not sure if this would technically be a law or not. But, the way tax brackets work, I've repeatedly heard people in retail or construction say something to the effect of, I'm going to turn down this shift because if I take it I'll go up into the next tax bracket and so will pay more in extra taxes than I will earn from taking the shift. The tax system is specifically designed not to do this. Here's an example of how tax brackets actually work. Say there is a tax bracket at $10,000. The rate below $10,000 is 5% and the rate above $10,000 is 10%. People seem to think that if they earn $9,999, They will pay 5% of that $499.95 in taxes, but that if they earn $10,001, they will pay 10% of that $1,000.10 in taxes. How it actually works is that you pay 5% on the first $10,000 and 10% only on the dollars above $10,000. If you earn $9,999, you pay $499.95. But if you earn $10,001, you will pay $500.10. You earned an additional $2 and paid an additional 15 cents in taxes. 5 cents on the $10,000th and 10 cents on the $10,001st. Of course, there are all sorts of weird interactions between taxes and government programs. Especially when someone is receiving certain government benefits. It is totally possible for each dollar you earn to be taxed back 1 for 1. In that case, there is a genuine disincentive to work more hours. But for a normal worker thinking about how many hours they can work before they end up in a higher tax bracket, you will never earn less by working more. So just work as much as you like. Edit. Typo. You can go 10 over the speed limit. My dad thought this was true as he was new to the country and quickly found out by a speeding ticket that it was not. I am no lawyer, but I don't feel like most of the villains in Scooby-Doo committed any actual crime. I don't think it's against the law to put on a mask and scare some trespassers on your own property. In the UK, that it is illegal to drink under the age of 18. You can buy alcohol with a meal at 16, beer, wine, cider, and you are not breaking any laws if you give your child some alcohol in the privacy of your own home and they are over the age of 5. Edit. At 16 you have to be accompanied by an adult and it is paid for by the adult. Thanks you, Kellisk. U.S. Ex-lawyer here. There is no law that requires the police to provide you with their name and badge number when asked. There may be internal policies. But it's not the law. There is also no law that requires the police to get a supervisor if demanded. Again. Policy versus law. There is no law that allows you to question whether an order given by the police is lawful or not. A court has to decide if the order was lawful after the fact. But there are laws to punish you if you do not comply. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thanks for the good conversation in gold. Truly honored. Quick updates. Someone pointed out that in NY there is a law that requires cops to ID themselves and have a card. Which is fantastic. Thank you for correcting the statement. A lot of folks seem to be concerned that no law meant no rules. So to clarify, a lot of things are actually managed via internal policies. Those policies usually have teeth. So no, the police are not interested in just violating them and losing their jobs, etc. Last note. Thanks for the civil discourse. A lot of these threads get reduced to flames quickly and by far the comments have been productive and thought-provoking. You guys really are awesome. I've tried to respond to questions and will continue to as long as you think it's useful. Thanks again. Paralegal. A lot of people think that the law requires you to be a good, decent person. If I'm sitting on a bench and see a blind person about to walk into the path of a bus, it's completely legal for me, in the United States, to remain silent. Take my cell phone out and take a video of his death. It's even legal for me to profit from the video. I'd be a monster for doing it. But there's no law imposing a duty on me to tell this stranger, watch out for that bus. Good Samaritan laws aren't nearly as broad as people think. For context, I work in emergency services. Some people believe that I was trying to help are the magic words that can get them out of any sticky situation. Edit. Good Sam laws vary by country and state. And the medical examples are a little more black and white than others. Adding a non-medical example of what I'm talking about. Imagine you're driving your car and notice someone on the side of the road who needs help. As you swerve off the road to provide assistance to this person in need, you incidentally run over a child on the sidewalk. After the situation is over, you're definitely not free from the consequences of running over the child with your car just because you had good intentions of helping someone else. Versions of that story have occurred. And the drivers have tried to use a Good Samaritan defense because they meant well. There is absolutely some gray area on the subject. But if your unprompted action undoubtedly makes the situation worse than if you'd done nothing. Having good intentions is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. And a bunch of people don't understand that concept. Even though many people think so. There has actually never been a Danish law allowing you to beat up a Swede with a stick. If he should walk across the ice on Øresund during winter. But even though the law has never existed, it doesn't mean it shouldn't.